Oscar Palmer Robertson was born on November 24, 1938, in Charlotte, Tennessee, but his legacy would stretch far beyond that small southern town. His story began during a time of segregation, injustice, and limited opportunity for Black athletes in America. When he was still a child, his family moved to Indianapolis, Indiana, looking for better opportunities and a safer life. But even there, racism followed. The Robertsons were one of the few Black families in a predominantly white neighborhood. Growing up in poverty, young Oscar didn't have access to polished wooden floors or organized leagues. Instead, he honed his skills on dirt courts and gravel lots, shooting basketballs into makeshift rims made of wire hangers and milk crates. His love for the game was pure. It wasn't about fame or money. It was about survival, discipline, and excellence. Oscar's father, Bailey Robertson, was a strict and hardworking man who instilled core values in his children: respect, focus, and education. Oscar's mother, Mazel, was equally committed to her children's future, pushing them to rise above the prejudice and poverty around them. Oscar didn't grow up idolizing celebrities or chasing dreams. He simply chased the ball day in and day out, developing an unusually fluid, poised, and powerful game that defied his environment. Even as a kid, he had a natural rhythm, an almost musical control of the court. At Crispus Attucks High School, Oscar would begin to rewrite history. It was a segregated all-Black high school in Indianapolis, and despite being looked down upon by the city's institutions, the school became the center of one of the greatest basketball stories ever told. Under Coach Ray Crow, the Crispus Attucks Tigers became a symbol of Black excellence, and Oscar Robertson was their shining light. He was tall, athletic, and incredibly skilled. But more than that, he played with intelligence, patience, and fearlessness. In 1955, Oscar led Crispus Attucks to the Indiana State Championship, the first ever by an all-Black school in the state. And they didn't just win, they dominated. The team went undefeated that season, and Oscar's calm, mature demeanor drew respect from fans and players across the state, despite the racial divide. The following year, they repeated as state champions, making Attucks the first school in Indiana to win back-to-back titles. After each victory, the team wasn't allowed to celebrate downtown like the white schools did. Instead, they were taken back to the Black neighborhoods, a harsh reminder of the times. But to Oscar, these moments were fuel. The wins weren't just for him, they were for every kid who was told they couldn't. After high school, Oscar chose to stay close to home and attend the University of Cincinnati. His decision shocked many, especially as most top-tier college programs at the time either subtly or openly avoided Black athletes. But Cincinnati welcomed Oscar, and in return, he put their basketball program on the map. From the moment he stepped on the court, he dominated. He averaged over 33 points per game across 3 seasons, an absurd figure in any era. He led the Bearcats to 2 Final Four appearances and became the first player to lead the NCAA in scoring 3 years in a row. But his time in college wasn't without challenges. On the road, he was often denied service at restaurants, hotels, or asked to enter through the back door. While his white teammates were treated like stars, Oscar endured the same discrimination he'd known his whole life. He was often isolated, both socially and emotionally, but he kept playing, kept producing, and most of all, he kept winning. He graduated with numerous records and became one of the most decorated players in college basketball history. In 1960, Oscar represented the United States at the Rome Olympics and brought home a gold medal. That same year, he was selected as the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft by the Cincinnati Royals. His impact was instant. In his rookie season, he averaged over 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 9.7 assists per game. No one had ever seen anything like him. A 6'5" guard with the court vision of a point guard, the rebounding of a forward, and the scoring touch of a shooting guard, he was a one-man revolution. And then, in his second season, he made history. Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double for the entire 1961-62 season. 30.8 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 11.4 assists per game. It was a statistical feat so outrageous that it would not be matched for over 50 years. His style of play redefined the position. He wasn't flashy, but he was efficient. He dissected defenses with surgical passes and punished them with graceful, deadly jump shots. Every move had purpose. Every possession was poetry in motion. Teammates marveled at his unselfishness. Opponents feared his completeness. But despite his brilliance, championships remained elusive. The Cincinnati Royals were a small-market team that struggled to build a winning core around their star. Oscar carried the franchise year after year, making all-star appearances, winning an MVP in 1964, and consistently being among the league's top scorers and playmakers. But even greatness needs help, and help was scarce. In 1970, after a decade of individual brilliance but team frustration, he was traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. That trade changed everything. In Milwaukee, Oscar teamed up with a young phenom named Lou Alcindor, who would later become Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Together, they formed one of the most dominant duos in NBA history. In just their first season together, the Bucks won 66 games and cruised through the playoffs. In 1971, Oscar Robertson finally became an NBA champion. It was the crowning moment of a career defined by quiet dominance and relentless excellence.
There's the big O! Oscar, congratulations.
God, thanks, Jack.
Big win for you. What do you feel? Is this better than the days that you see?
Oh, this is great, Jack. Finally got it.
This is 11 years in coming, right?
Long time, Jack.
How do you feel?
Oh, I feel wonderful, Jack. Great victory. Had a great team game.
What about this team, Oscar? Is this a great ball club?
I think we're coming, Jack. First year I'm with the club. I think we're gonna lose. Has to get much better. Great guy, big fella.
Hey, Luke.
At age 32, he stood at the top of the basketball world, not just as a player, but as a pioneer. Off the court, Oscar was equally groundbreaking. He was a vocal advocate for player rights during a time when speaking out could cost you everything. In 1970, he filed a lawsuit against the NBA, known as the Oscar Robertson suit, challenging the league's draft, trade, and free agency rules that severely limited player movement and earning potential. The lawsuit delayed the NBA-ABA merger and ultimately led to the creation of modern free agency. He wasn't just changing games, he was changing systems. After retiring in 1974, Oscar transitioned smoothly into business and philanthropy. He became a successful businessman, a mentor, and a voice of wisdom in the sports world. He never sought the limelight. He never chased attention, but his influence never faded. In 1994, he was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, cementing his place among the greatest to ever play the game. In 2010, the University of Cincinnati unveiled a statue in his honor, and in 2018, he was honored with the NBA's Lifetime Achievement Award. In his personal life, Oscar is a devoted husband and father. He's been married to his wife, Yvonne, since 1960, and they have one daughter, Tia. In 1997, he donated a kidney to his daughter who was battling lupus. It was yet another reminder that behind the records, the trophies, and the historic stats, Oscar Robertson is a man of integrity, love, and humility. Oscar's impact on the game is eternal. He paved the way for generations of players: Magic Johnson, Jason Kidd, Russell Westbrook, LeBron James. His fingerprints are all over the modern game. The idea that a guard could control every aspect of the game, that wasn't common until Oscar showed what was possible. His combination of power, skill, and IQ set the standard for versatility. He wasn't just ahead of his time. He defined what the future would look like. Today, Oscar Robertson remains one of the most respected voices in the game. He speaks with clarity, with conviction, and with purpose. He doesn't do it for attention. He does it because he cares about the players, about the history, about the future of basketball. He grew up in segregation, played through discrimination, fought for justice, changed the system, and along the way became one of the greatest players who ever lived. Oscar Robertson didn't just average a triple-double, he lived a triple-double life: impact, integrity, and influence. He is the blueprint, the original, the Big O.